folks, Crazy Marty here. Today we're going to go over the Weboost cellular booster system that I put in my trailer. This one here is a home unit. This is the multi-room home unit. I didn't go with the mobile unit, which is a slightly smaller unit. The dB gains are the same between the home unit and the mobile unit. The difference is this one doesn't come with a telescopic pole, which I did order and buy. The home unit here has the same dB gain, just the inside antenna is a lot better antenna than what you would get with the mobile unit. It actually has a higher gain, so I can take this thing, do some modifications to it by putting some wrap on the outside of it, and I can turn it into an outdoor antenna and get further away from the trailer and still have cell phone use, which is very important to me because I want to be able to sit at the campfire and be able to use my text message if need be. So make sure you hit the subscribe button and the little bell notification button, because every time you hit the subscribe button and the bell notification button together, one of the 7-year-olds that works for Tesla in the cobalt mines of southern Africa or wherever, they get a brand new shiny little hand trowel to use. So that always helps them out. In the meantime, let's get into how we did the install on this thing. Oh, also, if I'm in your area and you want me to come work on your stuff, I do come completely loaded for bear. I'm all ready to fix everything. I have all the tools necessary to do anything you need, pretty much, except the welder. If you have one of those, I can weld stuff too. And we can work on your stuff for you. So let's go into how we do the install on this trailer and on the horse trailer things. So we'll go from there. The first thing you want to do is lay out your system and make sure everything's going to work roughly where you want everything to go. Because the last thing you want to do is put something in there and run into a wire or a hose or a gas line or something stupid like that. That would be bad. Remember, the 6 P's are very important. Pre-planning prevents piss poor performance. Always use those. Never deviate. Lay your system out first and then figure out how it's all going to work from there. During the process of laying things out, I took and set the booster over here on the step and then looked down behind here where I was going to route my wiring to make sure everything was clear. And the first thing that I noticed is there is a big old frame crossmember right here. You can see that's right there. There's a frame. And then down below is a nice open spot. Let's see if we can get it here. There's a nice open spot that I've figured out I could run my cables through and make sure everything was going to be safe to do so. After making sure everything was clear on the back side of where I was going to install my pass-throughs, used a center punch to mark the holes. After drilling the holes, I went ahead and used the screws that came with the kit to pre-thread the holes. You have to be very careful when screwing the screws in, because you don't want to snap them off. That makes for a little bit of a problem. Then you got to re-drill things. When drilling through 2 sections of material that's thicker, you're going to have a piece behind a piece. You're going to want to probably go ahead and just trim off the screws. It's not a bad thing to trim the screws. Now that the holes are done, I can prepare the coax wire. Spend a little extra money. Get a good adjustable stripper for your coax, because you don't want when you cut through your outer insulation, you don't want to cut all the little tiny wires. You want to save all those. So this is an adjustable type. I've already adjusted it for what I need. You can adjust it for RG 59 up to RG 6 quad shield. So this way you can make sure that your stuff is done correctly. And now you can see we have all the little pieces of shielding, aluminum shielding wire, which is what we want. I'll fold all those back. If this was quad shield, there would be another piece of aluminum wrap around us, so we would take off the one aluminum wrap and then put our end on. So this goes in here. This is only dual shielding. Now there are differences between connectors. This is a universal connector. It works on quad shield and also works on dual shield like this. So I want to make sure that there's no wires. If it's touching the center electrode, it's shorted and it won't work. Now this one here has a little plastic deal that's inside, little plastic booner poker inside. So that's to help guide your wire in. So we put it in there like this. Want to push it through until your inner foam insulation is flush with the bottom of the nut. Now we want to crimp it. Now this is just a cheapy little Amazon crimper here, but it'll do what we need. I've already adjusted the length of it, so when I push it in, it'll click into place. Since I don't have any clear silicone right now, I'm going to go ahead and use Mammoth Bond on the back side of this. It's a lot more difficult to work with, so make sure you have plenty of paper towels. You'll find carburetor cleaner works pretty good on taking the stuff off of your skin, because the idea is not to get the stuff everywhere. This is where pre-drilling and screwing the holes already comes in very handy. Or I should say pre-threading the holes. Now we can take the excess off of here. You want to work quick with this stuff because you don't have long. I'll get the majority of it off. Then we'll go through and do some final cleanup details. Have lots and lots of paper towel available. And here we have what they look like when they're all done and put on. So they're freshly put on there. That looks good. It looks like it's factory done. Now it's time to figure out where to place our outside antenna on this system. On a horse trailer, as most of you know, there's not a lot of flat surfaces. We have a flat surface here, we have a flat surface here, we have our rumpled corrugated siding skin, which we all love so much, and then we have some flat surfaces up there on the hay rack. A lot of folks have gone with a antenna up on the top of the hay rack there with basically a omnidirectional antenna, which means it picks up signals from any direction and it broadcasts them in any direction like a donut. Now, since I go out into the boonies and boondock a lot, I decided to go with a directionable antenna, or better known as a Yagi antenna. Right now we're out here in front of the house, so we have high cell phone signals, but we can show you the difference that we get because I have a meter for directing that antenna. Now this here is the telescopic antenna pole that you can buy from Weboost. They're about $100 and some bucks. It'll go up to 25 feet in the air, so I mean I can get that thing way up there to the set of power lines you see right up in here into the secondary set of power lines. It'll go up into those, but I'm not gonna force it up there because, you know, power lines, aluminum, bad, zappy. It even tells you right here, don't do that. The way it's held on to the trailer, onto my slide out, is with this little bracket thing here. That's held on by VHB tape. Basically, it's a super duper sticky tape. The only problem that I don't like about VHB tape is its Achilles heel is water. So if water gets in here, and it eventually makes it come off. So at some point I may just drill through and do a couple pop rivets and a little bit of silicone and whatnot. But this is how that holds on there. This tightens up. That keeps it from rotating. You want to have this mount and then the next mount as far apart as possible. For me, this will work out fine here. Yes, it's touching the cover, but it should work out just fine for me. This way, if for some reason the thing does come loose, it'll only move a little bit and fall over onto the trailer versus, you know, if I have it out here, it'll fall a long ways, then it can flip over the other side of the trailer and damage my other stuff that's up there. So this is my line coming in to the trailer, going into the booster, and this is my line coming out of the booster. So what I've done is I've just run this over. And this is the indoor antenna. This would normally go inside your house. So I've just taken their little mount and put a couple of pop rivets on there. And now I've taken this is a cloth covered antenna. So I went over to my local body wrap place that does vehicle body wraps and got a free chunk of throwaway stuff from them, and then just wrapped it out. So that way this thing is now white and it's water resistant versus not having any resistance at all when it comes to water. So let's go and see how it looks on the inside. After much deliberation of figuring out where I was going to mount my booster setup, I thought right here by the step would be the most perfect place to put it. So what I got set up here is I've got a on-off switch here, and this is the booster, so we can turn the booster on and off just with the switch. That way it's not on all the time. I did get a 12-volt adapter for it, so this way I can run everything off the 12 volts. And this turned out actually as a nice clean way of setting it up. Nice short cables, because I'm trying to keep my cables as short as possible so I can have the highest dB gain. This here is a cellular RF meter. So what I'm looking at here, this tells me it's a LTE band 13. This is Verizon's, one of Verizon's channels. There are several that they use and different frequencies. It's handy to have this kind of thing, because otherwise you're just kind of guessing at whatever your cell signal is going to be, or where the cell tower is. So right now it tells me that I have 47 dBs of gain, or I'm negative 47 dB gain. The higher the number, the worse the thing is. The farther away from the tower you are. So right now I got to figure out which direction to point my antenna. Right now it's pointed off that direction. So let me go ahead and rotate the antenna around here in a little bit of a motion. So let's go ahead and go around, turn it around that way. And now the lower the number, the better. So now we're down to 41. Turn it some more. $38, $37 dB gain, 41. It takes about 30 seconds for this thing to settle down. So you have 37 dBs of gain, and now we know where our cell tower is. According to our dBs, our cell tower is off that direction. So in order to show you guys the rough change in dBs, right now we're at what, 44 dBs, in approximation to where we would be sitting outside or whatever in relation to the antenna. I could try to show you that right now, but it's really not going to work out too well, since my closest cell tower is only about a mile away or so, and I'm getting 46 dB reading. Let me turn it on and see if we get any change. I really doubt we will at this point. Okay, I've turned on the amplifier, and I'm at 33 dB, 39, 41, 42, so 43 dBs. So we've got a little bit of improvement here, but not that much. But if I move right up next to the antenna, then it's really improved. It'll be down to about 33. So here we're standing next to the antenna, as you can see. That's right there. We're down to negative 29, negative 30. So the booster is working, but as I said, you know, when you're dealing with decibel loss and boosters, the further away from the antenna you go, the higher your loss is going to be. Basically what'll happen as we walk further and further away from the antenna, it's going to wind up canceling out with the cell phone tower itself. So there's 34, 35. We're basically right back up here to where we were, 49. So yeah, this is about the distance right now where we started out at, because here's my tripod. So, you know, right at this point here, it's canceling itself out with the dB gains according to the cell tower, which is up that direction about a mile. So, you know, what we've got here, it shows it's working. It's just my boost signal isn't going to be nearly as great or noticeable until you get out into the boonies. Once you start getting up into the 90 dB range, then that's when your cell phone booster really starts to show. But we can show you inside, and you can see the difference there. All right, I'm inside the trailer now, and the booster is on. And currently my signal is about 28 negative dB gain. So see if we can get it to where you can see it. So there's 26 dBs of gain, 30. All right, I'm going to go ahead and turn this thing off in 3, 2, 1, off. Now we've turned it off, and now you can see we instantly jump up to 57 dBs of negative gain, 56. Okay, so we know it's working. We've checked it inside, we've checked it outside, we've done all my checks and everything else using my meter. It seems to be working good, so as far as the way they work, when you're further away from a cell phone tower, the better they work for you. Because right now, being that we're in town and we're really close to cell phone towers, they have a tendency to cancel each other out when you go so far away from the trailer and whatnot. But it'll work just fine for me and my application up in the boonies. Once you get this thing up into the, the 90s and 100 dB negative range, that's when these things really start to put out power and they actually start to work really well for you. So, it should work for what you want to do. This is what I have set up with me. It should work just fine for my application. But in the meantime, make sure you hit the like, subscribe button and hit the little bell thing, ding-a-ling-a-ling, because God only knows we got to give those kids down in South Africa that work in the cobalt mines a brand new shiny shovel, because they got to dig out that cobalt for your Tesla car. So make sure you subscribe, like, and all that other fun stuff. And I'll talk to you a little bit later. This is Crazy Marty. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.
And I'll be sure and send you a postcard from freedom sometime. Living in Illuminati.
Remember, when you hit the bell button, Santa Claus delivers a brand new shiny hand trowel to the kids in the South African cobalt mine working for Tesla. Where the do I come up with this stuff?